April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and on this edition of the NCWLIFE Magazine, we're taking a look behind the scenes with Cashmere Senior Emma Brunner as she works on her senior project. Emma is working with several key community partners to create 3 locally produced PSAs aimed at raising awareness on a deadly issue behind the wheel. 1 in 4 drivers involved in a crash in the United States were using a smartphone within 1 minute before the accident occurred. This, according to an analysis of data from hundreds of thousands of drivers' phones over a span of 18 months. Drivers downloaded software from Cambridge Mobile Telematics in the form of a smartphone app called Drive Well, according to an article by the Boston Globe. The app tracks when, where, for how long, and at what speeds people were using their phones while driving. According to the analysis by Cambridge, on drives where significant phone distraction occurred, 29% of the distraction was at speeds of over 56 miles per hour. Wenatchee Police Chief Steve Crown says while distracted driving most often involves the use of a cell phone, there are many things that can take a driver's attention from the road.
Distracted driving is anything that you can imagine that keeps you from concentrating on the one thing that you have to do while you're in a car, and that's drive. If you're the person seated behind the wheel, you have to be able to negotiate traffic lights, watch out for pedestrians, the unknown, deer in our area for sure, livestock, speeds of other vehicles, and the behaviors of other drivers. So distracted driving can be anything from eating food to that one thing that we all are addicted to, which is our cell phones. And any media whatsoever in the car, whether it be your phone, your radio in your car, can be a big distraction. And what ends up happening is there's a lot of collisions that occur on a national level, somewhere in the neighborhood of 300,000 plus serious collisions happen every year. There's over 3,500 deaths that occur every year because related to distracted driving. And there's a whole host of them that are not serious injuries but deal with property damage. They're almost undetectable because they're very difficult to pinpoint that, hey, was distracted driving an issue? Was a cell phone an issue? Unless you have the grounds for really doing some forensics to figure out whether they were on their phone. So it's a huge problem. People that are distracted drivers are almost as impaired as those that are driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs. So that's why it results in so many collisions and some deaths that occur out of those as well.
Cashmere Senior and Wenatchee Valley College sophomore Emma Brunner began her involvement in raising awareness on the dangers of distracted driving when she was a Senate page in Olympia, after her and her mother were told there weren't enough deaths from distracted driving to inspire more warning signs on the roadway.
So I took it upon myself as a 15-year-old girl to try and make a difference. Even if it was just in Cashmere, I wanted to make that difference. And starting 3 years ago on this, I made 3 road signs, magnets, and I brought in a professional speaker, Sid Muzzy. He owns all of the 911 driving schools. And he spoke to my school. The signs got posted, 6 signs got posted in Cashmere. And then magnets got handed out at the end of the assembly, and those were all paid for by a grant I wrote with my mom to the Washington Traffic Commission, which was worth $500. So we got a lot done with just that amount of money. Now that I'm a senior, I wanted to save the bigger stuff for my project, my senior project, which is something that we have to do to graduate. So. I wanted to do something big and impactful. I wanted to no longer just reach Cashmere. I wanted to go beyond those means and reach all of Wenatchee. So my mentor is Steve Crown, and him and I sat down and started discussing what grants we could apply for, what people we needed to get involved that have a lot to do with cars and car accidents. So obviously my mentor being a police officer, that was already one step forward. So we were already moving in the right direction.
After a few conversations about the most effective way to reach the community on this issue, Chief Crown says they decided locally produced PSAs would be a unique way to spread the word.
One of the things that I kind of steered her toward is thinking bigger, thinking about a bigger campaign, and that's all it took. She took off and ran with the ball, and right now you're seeing her getting close to finishing up her senior project, and it's going to be a good one, I hope. But just kind of talking her through some of her own thoughts about what was in her interest about distracted driving. Why not? Why not create a video? Why not create a larger viewership and reach more people so that you can hopefully get that message through? Stop with the distracted driving, focus on the road ahead.
With a donation from the North Central Washington Association of Realtors, Emma was able to move forward with the PSAs. Enlisting the Community Foundation of North Central Washington as her fiscal sponsor for any donations, she also joined forces with Apple Valley Honda to help bring the commercials to the airwaves.
The way the collaboration happened for Apple Valley Honda to get involved was Emma's parents had purchased vehicles from Apple Valley Honda, and they had asked their salesperson if Apple Valley Honda would consider doing any sort of sponsorship. So their salesperson asked our general manager, Todd McLaughlin, and Todd thought it'd be a great idea. So he got Digital Media Northwest involved, and one thing led to another, and now it's went from an idea to a concept to reality. I actually think this topic is bigger than community. I think it's going to serve in our community, but I think it's actually it's a global problem. Everybody here at Apple Valley Honda is a parent, so it hits close to home for us, just simply because anytime our kids get behind the wheel of a car, we want their phone out of there. Any text message, any type of social media, it can wait. So a project like this, it affects our kids. So we love the idea right from the get-go.
Working with Dominic Bonney of Digital Media Northwest, the brainstorming began on concepts for 3 PSAs that will run in the movie theaters and on social media this summer.
Just knowing that I tried to save a life or tried to make an impact, that's enough.
Yeah. Well, and when she told her dad the idea for the Dear Mom and Dad one, she said it made him tear up, and he was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to think about burying my daughter.
Yeah.
But it's like that. Think about how that's going to impact other people.
Welcome back to this episode of the NCWLIFE Magazine, where we're taking a look behind the scenes of Cashmere Senior Emma Brunner's project aiming at raising awareness on the dangers of distracted driving. Emma began her work with Dominic Bonney of Digital Media Northwest to produce 3 PSAs that will run locally in place of Apple Valley Honda's regular ad spots at the movie theater.
My name is Dominic Bonney, and I am co-owner of Digital Media Northwest. We produce videos, do still photography, manage websites, and most of what I do is social media management. Well, I got a call from Todd McLaughlin at Apple Valley Honda about a month ago, and he asked me if I wanted to participate in this project and kind of explain to me what Emma was trying to do, and said that they are supporting it and they want to donate some of their ad buys this summer to running her PSAs, and asked me if I would produce those PSAs. And so we came up with 3 30-second scripts for distracted driving, anti-distracted driving. This being kind of an inherently unsafe situation, we wanted to make sure that we were filming the distracted driving stuff off the roads and not actually putting anybody in danger, because we did have children as a part of this, and Emma's young as well. So what we did was we used the airport here in Cashmere and used the taxiway to get all the shots of her doing the things she shouldn't be doing behind the wheel. And then we also had support from Chelan County Sheriff, I believe.
Dominic Much.
Yes, Officer Much, who is the Cashmere
Resource Officer.
took some time on his day off and came and pulled Emma over on close over by her house, and we went through the script of her basically being pulled over. She says, "Oh, I never do that," and then we filmed all the montage of her doing all the bad things here at the airport, and so we'll cut those together so that it looks like you know, she's being admonished for something that she didn't do, which she actually does, and then the last shot is him giving her a ticket.
Emma says pretending to be a distracted driver for the videos, whether it was on her phone or applying makeup, was a difficult task.
Like, I had all these questions running through my mind, and I was like, I can't do this, like, this sucks. And luckily, it wasn't just the phone that I had to hold, it was like eating and putting on makeup, which also is like pretty scary because, like, I don't know, it kind of sucks putting on makeup in a car. I don't know why you would do that to begin with, but I don't know, it's just like, it was a little difficult, but the impact that it is going to make, because I know it will, it was definitely worth it to probably look really dumb doing it, so it was definitely worth it.
As far as the themes in each PSA, Emma and Dominic say viewers can expect a little drama.
My mother came up with the first idea. So since I'm graduating, she wanted to make an impact on all the parents to tell their children not to do this, especially because graduation is coming up soon and they don't want their kid to die. So she came up with the idea of having a Dear Mom and Dad video where it implies that I died, which is scary because I don't really want to. But that is implied in the shoot, and I don't make it to graduation. I die dramatically and they don't even get to say goodbye to me. I'm only 18, so that's pretty impactful already. So my dad had a really hard time actually wanting to do it, but he knows the impact that it will have on other parents in the Valley, so I feel like that's the main reason why he said yes, but he didn't really want to do it to begin with because I'm his daughter, and it's not like that my mom didn't want me to do it, but she knew the impact immediately, but my dad took him a while. So we have that one, and then as Dom explained earlier, we have me just being stupid and on my phone and getting pulled over, and we have another video that's completely separate where I hit a biker and I almost kill her. So there's that. So there's two that are really dramatic, and then there's just one showing everything that can do with distracted driving. So the first one for sure is definitely the heart hitter. So
Dear Mom and Dad one is basically like this girl from beyond the grave is writing her parents an apology letter, you know, and so we never see her die, but you know, it's implied, like you said. And for that one, you know, I mean, I'm a big cinema guy, so I mean, immediately in my mind I thought like Tarantino, and I thought we need to be lowering a casket into a grave with her parents standing over it, you know, weeping and show that emotional impact. And so we actually used a GoPro and an apple bin because we couldn't dig a grave because it's too cold. So we cut a hole in an apple bin, shoved the GoPro down there, and had her parents stand on the step stool, and it looks just like, well, we'll see, but it looks pretty much like a grave.
For Emma and Dominic, the challenging work in making these PSAs impactful is well worth it in the end if they can make community members think twice about their behaviors behind the wheel.
Just knowing that I tried to save a life or tried to make an impact, that's enough.
Yeah. Well, and when she told her dad the idea for the Dear Mom and Dad one, she said it, you know, it made him tear up, and he was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to think about burying my daughter.
Yeah.
But it's like that, you know, think about how that's going to impact other people.
Yeah.
For Chief Crown, he feels the locally produced PSAs could have more of an impact than a national campaign.
I think that regionalization of these messages have more of an impact. I think that most people, when they see a pretty vanilla ad that's out there on YouTube, they may or may not pick up on it. But when you're a local person seeing local landmarks and people putting the energy behind it, I think that'll have a better impact. I think that's exactly where she wanted to land with this project. The best thing that we can do as parents is to set the example. Because when we're behind the wheel and we have that desire to reach over to that phone, we need to set it down.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Magazine, focusing on distracted driving. Today, we've looked behind the scenes as Cashmere Senior Emma Brunner has worked to produce 3 PSAs for her senior project. Working with local producer Dominic Bonney, Dominic says the project has helped open his eyes on the dangers.
Well, it's definitely made me think more about distracted driving. I must confess that I've done it in the past and never thought much about it because I thought, well, I'm a good driver and it's other people's problem, you know. But it's made me stop, and it's also opened my eyes to how prevalent it is just in town. I mean, you pull up to a stop sign and 3 out of 4 people are on their phone looking down at their lap, you know, and it's not just kids, you know. People, I think a lot of times people like to give high schooler age group a lot of guff for doing this, but I see men, women, people with kids in the car, people with their grandkids, grandparents on their phones, and very rarely is it actually talking, and you can tell that they're texting, and it's, you know, it's kills more people than drunk driving these days.
It's like you wish there was a cop behind them because there's so many. You look at it and you wish, like, if I were a cop, you just wish you could pull them over and give them a ticket and have them learn their lesson. Not necessarily the hard way, because the hard way is killing someone, but you want them to learn. And that's what I'm hoping that this video does. Well, yeah, I mean, you're never alone. Like, even if you're in your car alone, you're never alone on the road. So I think that's really important because, you know, especially for you being a young person, this is meant to kind of show wasted potential. Like, you know, maybe you won't hurt yourself, maybe you hurt somebody else, and then you got to live with that for the rest of your life. And, you know, we don't think about those things until you really, it's really selfish, and you don't think about it until you really focus on this issue. When will locals see the PSAs? So we have a set date to have everything completed and hopefully turned into Gateway by April 15th, and they will go into the theater by end of May. So they'll be running all through the rest of May and all through August in Gateway Cinemas, all before all of the movies. Yeah, and they'll also be on social media online. So Apple Valley Honda will share them through their social media, and I'm sure other people will via their private social media as well. With the PSAs hitting the big screen this summer, Chief Crown says the campaign is just in time for what law enforcement refers to as the 100 Deadly Days of Summer.
This campaign is more towards the education and outreach side, and we hope that people will take that before we start into the 100 Deadly Days of Summer. And the 100 Deadly Days of Summer is when kids are out of school and a lot of them are taking off and heading to college. They're on road trips, a lot of travel. That's when we find that our youth are most susceptible to serious injury or death on the roadways. So we want to be out in front of that. We want to get the messaging out and hopefully change some behaviors before we have to deal with the tragedy. And there's no doubt that you've got an increased risk throughout the year if you're distracted driving. I don't care if it's slick roads or just some of the other hazards that come with other times of the year. If you're distracted, your odds of being in a collision go up tremendously. I want the apathy to go away because I think that a lot of parents have a tendency to say that I'm a good driver, I can do this, I can juggle all the balls in the air while I'm driving or doing anything, and I can do this. And that ends up going right to the kid's thought process. I think it starts in the home. I think when we turn over the keys to the kids, there needs to be some of those discussions. The cell phone goes off or it goes into the safe mode while you're driving. And that's a contractual thing as they start their driving. I think the next thing is making sure that on a grander scale, we just think about when we're traveling down that road. A lot of things can go wrong in a short amount of time. It makes sense to pay attention to the road. It makes sense to be focused. And anything that you could be doing, maybe it's time to pull over in a parking lot and eat that hamburger versus driving down the road and steering with your elbows. That's not a good deal.
For Marilyn and the crew at Apple Valley Honda, getting involved in this project gives them hope at raising awareness on a deadly issue nationwide.
I'm hoping that people take away the finality of a split-second decision that can change your life and the lives of everyone around you. I think as a parent, if I got the phone call that something had happened to one of my daughters, I'd never recover from it, simply because they decided to pick up their phone while they were driving. I'd never recover from that, and I hope they realize that. And I hope all, whether you're a student, whether you're a parent, whether you're whoever you are, I hope you realize that your phone can wait. There are people waiting for you to get home and they want you to be there alive. So I really hope people realize that their phone can wait when they're driving. And I think Emma picked a really good topic. She just really nailed it.
For this local senior project, community partners agreed that Emma's determination and passion on the topic deserves respect and admiration.
When somebody has that type of energy and desire and drive, it quite frankly is uplifting. You don't see that too much with college and high school age kids. They seem to be focused on other things, but this was a big one. This was a big bite, and she's done really well with it, and so that's super impressive.
You hear a lot of different topics from, different individuals. This one was new for me to hear out of a senior in high school. Yeah, I applaud her. I think this is a phenomenal topic that needs to be brought to the forefront and discussed. Emma's going to change the world with this idea.
It's crazy, like all people will see is the movie theater ones, but they will never truly know how much we actually put into doing it. And just even me knowing how much I put into it, that's satisfactory enough. Like, just knowing that I tried to save a life or tried to make an impact, that's enough.